Now, I'll tell you what, okay, the last couple of months have been slightly slow in terms of, like, drama and topic to talk about, but the last few days, it really has started to pick up a little bit. Like, as I'm recording this video, I actually uploaded a video just yesterday, and I already have enough topics to make another video, like 3 or 4 different topics. So we can probably expect a few more videos this month, I reckon. But yeah, as you can probably tell, this is actually gonna be one of them videos where we take a bunch of topics and we put them all into one video, and yeah, like I said, we have quite a few to talk about today, so let's not waste any more time, shall we? But for the first story, I actually want to talk about someone I probably have never spoke about on this channel, someone who goes by the name of Markiplier. So if you don't know already, Markiplier and Ethan actually created a joint channel called Unus Arnus. I'm so sorry if I pronounced that wrong. And the whole point of the channel was they were going to jam-pack it with content for a year and then just fully delete the channel. And I'm not talking like just unlisting the videos and starting fresh for the new year or anything like that. I mean, they literally deleted the channel and they don't want anybody else to re-upload anything they made. And this isn't because they hated the channel or anything. This is something that they thought about before they even started the channel. It's the whole point of the channel. And the idea behind it, when explained, I think is actually quite a good idea. Now, we are going to watch Markiplier's video actually talking about and explaining why he created the channel and whatnot, and then I give you my thoughts and feelings. But just to give a bit of context, they actually did their final live stream on the Unus Arnus channel yesterday, and over, like, what, 1.6 million people watched it live. It was basically, like, a big countdown. I don't know how long the stream was actually on for. I remember when I clicked on it, there was still, like, 7 hours left, so it was a long stream. And it is one big live stream, and as soon as it got to the year's anniversary, to the minute, they deleted the channel completely, and it's gone forever.
You know, someone asked me a year ago why I was doing this. Why we were making a channel and putting so much effort into it just to delete it. They didn't understand it. They couldn't understand it. They were like, it doesn't make any sense. Why would someone put all that effort into something they were just going to get rid of? They were just going to throw away. And I said, it'll make sense when it ends.
You know what? The weirdest thing about it, even him just explaining like that, it kind of makes sense because it feels like a special thing if you've seen them videos. Now, I personally wouldn't do this, okay? Because maybe I'm a bit lazy. If I put a bunch of work into something, I want it to stay up. But it makes sense. It's almost like, do you know when you go to a concert and you see people recording like the concert and you just think to yourself like, oh, why don't you just live in the moment or whatnot? That's kind of what this was. It was living in the moment. The ironic thing was that a lot of technology was used for them to live in the moment, but now it's gone. So I actually rate it quite highly, if I'm honest.
Point could have been more properly articulated than last night when 1.5 million people stopped whatever they were doing to watch and pay respect to the end of Unus Arnus. Because I firmly believe that the entirety of what something is cannot be truly appreciated until it ends. And then that ending, depending on how it ended, reflects entirely back on its entire life. And that was Unus Arnus. It was a year's worth of work to build up to one moment. That 1 second before we hit the delete button.
I feel like I'm in some like kind of like weird like cryptic movie or some shit, but I rate it. That's basically what I wanted to say. I thought it was actually a really good idea. The whole concept was really, really good. It's something that like many YouTubers just simply wouldn't do. Like putting that much effort into something, they probably wanted to live forever. But I rate it. If that's the way they wanted to do it, I think it went well. Now, the interesting thing about this is that they've basically came out and said that if anyone actually re-uploads any of the content that was on that channel, they're literally just going to strike your channel down, okay? They're going to strike your channel. It can cause your whole channel to get terminated. They just don't want the videos anywhere on YouTube. And now that is a part where I feel like we can get a bit of a decent conversation in the comment section if you think that's maybe a bit too far. Now, my personal opinion, I feel like they can just do whatever they want to do because it's their videos at the end of the day. I feel like no one else can really just re-upload their content and then feel bad about it when it gets taken down. But I realize there will be a lot of people who might disagree with that, okay? So if you are one of them people, or if you do agree, please let me know in the comment section down below. I think it'd be a good conversation. Now, next up on the agenda, we actually have the Ace family, someone that we've spoke about quite a few times on this channel. It dates back years ago when we spoke about how Austin went and bought his niece a penis-shaped lollipop, which, you know, is a very smart thing to do. And then became way more stuff, how they were, like, flooding the neighborhood from their pool because they had a jet ski in it. Just recently, Austin posted a video on his Instagram story complaining about wearing masks in a shop and, like, made a big joke about it. Then there was that clip that was in one of the vlogs that was left in where it shows Austin swearing in front of the kids and getting angry at Catherine for not recording correctly. So there's a bunch of stuff, okay? And now we've got this whole new thing, and basically Austin's just jumped on the wave. There's a whole lot of boxing talk going on lately. recently, and I've been an athlete my entire life, so it'd be disappointing for me to not get involved. Jake Paul been running from me for years. I got $5 million for whoever steps into the ring with me. Tag who you think would want this smoke. Now, my favorite thing about this is how he says someone's been running from him for years when he only just announced that he wants to do this YouTube boxing thing about a day ago. Now it's actually got to the point, like, who actually cares anymore? It was so fun at first, you know, when, like, the KSI Joella stuff, then KSI and Logan Paul, then it went back and did the rematch. Really, really fun. But does anyone actually care anymore? Like, I'm pretty sure Jake Paul has a fight coming up this month, and have you even heard a single person talk about it other than him? Because I haven't. At least when KSI and Logan Paul were fighting, there'd be people, like, being like, oh, just out of curiosity, who do you think's gonna win? But now it's just dead, okay? It's so dead that I probably wouldn't even talk about it if it wasn't for what actually came about this drama after he posted something like this. But before we get into the responses, let's see what else Austin put on his story. So he's put, people do a lot of talking, but when the time comes, they start ducking. Here's fam, spam these little boys with duck emojis for ducking me. All I should see is a duck show on their page. And don't forget to tag who you want to see me in the ring with. And a bunch of people actually commented on this. Logan Paul said, I'd take $5 million from you with one arm tied behind my back. You choose the arm. Bradley Martin said, I'll take that $5 million blindfolded. And then as you can probably tell, it basically become a battle of who can beat Austin McBroom with the biggest disadvantage possible. But you see, the thing that actually makes this a little bit interesting, and the reason why I wanted to talk about it is because Jake Paul actually responded to Austin McBroom. But it wasn't just a simple yes or no. I'd be more worried about your wife in my DMs. Is there what Jake decided to say? Which I've got to say is quite an interesting twist, because the whole rumors were that Austin goes out and just sleeps with a bunch of people and comes back to his wife and his kids in his big massive mansion and basically just lives with his millions of dollars. And Jake Paul, who I've got to say is a very, very trustworthy source, but he reckons it's the other way around. But I personally wouldn't take Jake's word on many things. I don't know why. But then he followed up with this story saying, should I post the receipts? Yes or no, don't be a home wreck. But then Catherine actually responded to this, but she deleted the story not that long after, and it said, how original. I forgot you existed until my husband mentioned you today. At Jake Paul, I'll be sending you an invoice for this free publicity. So like I said, she actually deleted the story not long after this, but Jake reposted the story and said, Austin had hit her the quick story delete. But you're Catherine McBroom. How are you gonna send me an invoice if the publicity is free? I mean, I never got an invoice for some free shit. You good over there? Honestly, probably the worst little comeback I've ever heard in my life. And then the last thing that was posted about this whole situation was Jake Paul with this Instagram story.
People just shouldn't call me out. Just avoid it, because I have too much. I know too much on everyone. Free smoke, free smoke.
And I would love to hear your guys' opinions on the whole situation, even about the fight in general, but also about, like, Jake's response, other people's responses. Obviously, I think it would be quite fair to say that you probably shouldn't trust anything that he says in this situation as actually true, because, I mean, it is Jake who's saying it. He's not exactly the most trustworthy person in the world, is he? But yeah, as for the fight stuff in general, I just think it would be boring. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I don't want to see Austin McBroom and Jake Paul fight. I don't want to see Austin McBroom and Logan Paul fight. I just don't want to see it, okay? It shouldn't happen. But yeah, I think that's probably enough with that situation, okay? Let me know your thoughts down below. Right, so now for the final topic, okay? This is the video that I kind of hinted towards in the last video where I was like, should we watch this? It's basically Rylan Adams' podcast, and it has Trisha Paytas in it, and I said there was a few timestamps. If there's any decent topics in there, do you want me to quickly talk about them? And there was one called Trisha on Confronting YouTubers. I felt like it was fitting in this whole saga that we got going on, and a bunch of people commented saying they wanted to see it. So that's what this is going to be. But yeah, a little bit of context said quick. Like I said, this is Rylan Adams' podcast. It's called The Sip. It's also got Lizzie Gordon hosting it as well. It's doing really, really well, like, numbers-wise, and to be fair, like, the whole setup looks nice. It looks high quality. I haven't listened to too much. I don't know what the actual content is like, but it looks like a decent podcast. And it just so happens in episode 6, Trisha Paytas came in a sequined covered Ugg boots. Okay, right, let's have a look.
What I've always been I've admired you a lot about being able to A, stick up for yourself, or B, be able to unapologetically pop off at somebody. And what's it like? So after you
been canceled.
Okay.
See, this is the problem, okay? Because so many YouTubers do this exact same thing. There's one thing that actually irks me. Like, he will happily sit there and go on about how he's like, oh, you know, Trisha, when you call out YouTubers, I think it's so lit. You sticking up for yourself and what you believe in, I think it's cool, bro. But I doubt you were thinking it was cool when people were making videos on, like, Shane or any of your mates or anything like that. Like, people really seem to like drama videos and people who talk about drama and talk about other YouTubers until it's either them involved or someone that they know is involved. involved. Because let's be honest, if Trisha Paytas had joined in with the whole bandwagon and went for Shane Dawson, you would no longer like the fact that Trisha Paytas sticks up for herself. That's just the truth. And the reason I say that is because later in this podcast, they go and talk about like drama YouTubers or whatnot, or they hint about drama YouTubers and basically say like, why don't people just mind their own business? But then these same people then go on about how they think someone like Trisha Paytas is class because she calls people out. It doesn't make sense, okay? But this is me just going at Ryan Adams, okay? Like, there's so many YouTubers who do this. There's James Charles who said a very similar thing. Jeffree Star said the same thing. There's so many of these YouTubers that hate drama when it revolves around them, and they hate drama channels. But then when it doesn't revolve around them, they love it.
Yeah, but then after I do it, I get a little anxiety. You know, I did get a little, like, even with like when I don't know, I get a little anxiety. Especially when it comes to like you guys.
I do get that though, but I think a big reason for that is because of how rash the videos that she uploads are. There's no editing involved, there's no looking back involved. It literally is just one big raw file where you say whatever's on your mind at the time and just upload it straight after. Like, how many times has some like drama happened and Trisha got a video up within like 10 minutes of that happening with her opinions? Like, that's probably a big factor in why you feel like that after you post them, to be fair, but I do get it either way.
Yeah, I think you're one of the few that didn't think about your reputation when sticking up for us, which is like I know is a very hard thing to do, and you continue to do it.
Well, I also feel like sometimes people don't want me on their side. Sometimes me sticking up for someone's a bad thing because you guys are pretty good.
Tell you what, right? As much as I would love to sit here and kind of take the piss out of this whole podcast, but she's getting a lot more self-aware. We're quite a few minutes into this right now, and there really isn't that much you can pick about. Like, she's literally saying, look, it's probably a bad thing if I stick up for you, if I actually want you to be defended and whatnot. But yeah, it's getting better, okay? I'm proud of her.
Who is off limits for you? Like, what topic is off limits? Like, what will you vlog about and cut out? Besides burping.
Yeah, definitely the burping. People I've been friends with, I try not to mention.
I mean, just as we were singing her praises, I think that's a bit ironic, isn't it? Like, how many times has she done something similar to that? Like, for example, when she went at the vlog squad for not going against Jason Nash. Like, I feel about 70% of the drama she gets in, she has to call out one of the person's friends, being like, oh, why are you not doing anything about it? How dare you be friends with this person? So yeah, apart from that, I feel like she actually did a good job in this, okay? There's not actually that much I can say. If anything, I can probably say maybe she might be maturing a little bit. It's probably too early to say that. But yeah, like always, I would love to hear your opinions down below. If you watched the full podcast, let me know what you thought down below too. And also, if you did enjoy this video, if you could leave a like on it, that'd be much appreciated. If you could subscribe if you're new too, that'd be wonderful. And yeah, my Twitch is gonna be linked down below. I'm live on there every single day. I could be live as you're watching this video right now. But until next time, I guess I'll see you guys. Alright, goodbye.